Okay, how's it going, YouTube? I promise you guys, the next time I made chicken soup, I would film it for you guys. So here I am. I'm gonna be kind of rushed, so I'm not gonna film like everything like I would normally. We've got a game night tonight at church, and I still have to make dessert for that, and I might try to record that too if I can swing it. So I'm going to turn on, I'm making it in my soup pot that I got for Christmas. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of oil to this. I need to refill this. And then we're going to add some onions. Now I'm making this chicken soup with two rotisserie chickens that I picked up at the grocery store today. I did that because I wanted the bones to throw in a soup, my canning pot. I'll take you off of there, and you can see in there. So I'm getting scraps ready for this, but I've got two chicken, whole chicken bones in there. I've got some onion in there already. I've got celery, I've got carrots. I still have to add peppercorns and my turmeric and all of that to that, but I'm going to be slow cooking that in my water bath canner for the next couple of days. So I'll probably can that up on Sunday is what I'm guessing. So right now all I'm going to do is saute up a little bit of sweet onion. I'm going to chop up some more onion and get it into my canning pot for my stock, for chicken stock. For this chicken soup we're going to use onion stock since I don't have chicken stock. But we're going to flavor it a little bit with some what is it, the not so bouillon? Is it better than bouillon? Let's call it not so. Let's call it not so bouillon. It is bouillon. It's better than bouillon. So we're going to be using that in the roasted chicken flavor. So let me get this sauteed, and okay. As I saute up my onions, I'm also going to add in a nice heaping tablespoon of garlic, maybe a heaping tablespoon and a half. So I like garlic. And then I'm also going to throw in my celery. Okay. Let's get this. I just want to wilt this a little bit to soften it up. And once we get there, I'll bring you back. Okay, so now that we've got this sauteed up a bit, now I'm going to add I've got parsnip and carrots in here. Just a little bit of parsnip. Now I cut mine up, sorry about my dishwasher. I cut mine up because I like, whenever I eat a soup or a stew, I don't like, this one needs to be cut more. It needs to be separated. There we go. I don't like big chunks of anything. I like a little bit of everything on my spoon. And I cook for kids, so, you know, they like a little bit of everything on their spoon too to be able to eat it. So I chop mine up smaller. You do not have to do that though if you do not want. This is just, I promised you guys I would show you how I made it, so you tailor it to the way you like it. Okay, so as this starts to sweat and cook down, I'm going to go ahead and add some of my chicken. I don't know if I will use all of my chicken. And we'll see here. And, okay, my family likes it chickeny. So I'm going to go ahead and add all of the chicken here in here. just kind of break it apart so it's not all big, and I don't want any little pieces of skin in there at all. Try to break it up in the bowl before I put it in. Alright, there we go. And that's a mix of both the white meat and the dark meat. My kids like both, so both go in. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 jar of onion stock to this. This is the onion stock we made together. I will leave the link to that video up above. So if you want to see, actually it might be in 2 videos on how I make it, and then I canned it. So I'm going to just add 1 in here for right now, just because I want to add the seasonings next. So we're going to add fresh cracked black pepper, alright, next we're going to do freshly cracked salt. Now the salt I'm not going to add as much in because we're using bouillon. But to this I'm going to be adding some additional granulated garlic, because chicken soup should be garlicky, in my opinion. I'm going to add some granulated onion to it. I am also going to be adding some dehydrated chopped chives or green onions. I'm also going to be adding my own home dehydrated parsley. Sprinkle that in. I also like to add turmeric to mine. It's an anti-inflammatory and it makes it a beautiful color. So it's got a lot of health benefits, and I love the taste. And then also I'm going to be adding a tablespoon, maybe 2. That's going to be kind of a big bowl. 2 tablespoons of the Better Than bouillon. And then we're just going to give this kind of a quick stir. And then as the soup cooks up, we're going to taste it. And we're going to adjust the seasonings, add whatever you feel is missing. It needs a little extra. Your soup. And so this is where the fun for me begins, because you can make it a little different every time you make it. But this is how my family likes it. So I'm going to go ahead and add now another jar. I'll kick you back of the onion stock, the onion veggie stock I should call it. And then we're going to add a third in here as well. Now that's going to leave us a nice, now this is a 7.5 quart I think pot. Typically I make this in my Instant Pot. So if you have an 8 quart Instant Pot, I've got an 8 quart. It's really good because then I can make this early on, and then before dinner I usually throw in the noodles like the last hour or so. But we're just making it on the stove top because I know most of you that's how you're gonna make it. So use a big stock pot if you have one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring this to a boil, and then I'm going to simmer it for a while and let all the flavors get together. It's going to be a little strong, but that will weaken once you add the noodles. Okay, So that's it with that. So I will bring you guys back when this starts to simmer, just to show you what it looks like, and then we'll just leave it alone and kind of cook up and let the carrots and the celery and the onions all cook in there, and the parsnip. forgot about the parsnip. Okay, I'll bring it back when we get this in time. Here's my stock. So it's got onions, celery, parsnips, black peppercorn, turmeric, canning salt, 2 rotisserie chickens with the skin so I could get the flavor of it. And when I can this up, I'll probably bring you back and make another video on that. I can it just like I do my beef stock with the cheesecloth, so that'll be delicious. Okay. And just for reference, because I don't think this is a local restaurant. You see they're made in Michigan. I get these from Gordon Food Service, GFS, and so that's where I buy them, in the freezer section. I can't even begin to pronounce that, but they're Kluski noodles. They are like homemade noodles, and we have a local place called Iva's Chicken, and I think they use a very similar noodle. They might make theirs homemade, but this is very, very similar to that. I've never eaten at this restaurant, but these noodles are fantastic. So if you're a Michigander and you have a Gordon Food Service, you should be able to buy these here. I don't know where else what other brand would be similar to this. I mean, you could make your own. I used to just use the egg noodles. And so what I do is I empty half the bag in a bowl, and so one bag makes 2 big pots of soup. So that's how I do it. So I'll put half there, and then this I will fold up and put in a Ziploc gallon freezer bag and save it for the next pot that I make. And this is starting to look really good, and it smells really good too. So you do not have to shred your chicken up this much. My son cut up the chicken for me, and he shredded it for me. But we like it shredded like this in our soup, but you do whatever you like to do. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to like medium low, and I'm going to put the lid on. And what I do is I just vent it a little bit. So can you see that? I'll vent it out the back for you guys so you can see it just a little bit. So it can cook, but you know, it can still vent out a little bit. So I'm just gonna let this cook up now, probably for the next, I don't know, about a half hour until the carrots are nice and soft. That's how I test it. Once the carrots are soft, celery soft, then I'm gonna go ahead and add the noodles and then cook up the noodles, and then we'll be ready to serve. Okay, so this is cooked down quite a bit. I don't know if you can see that on the sides there, but we are now going to, it's gonna taste strong, okay? If you taste it now, you're gonna be like, woo! That's powerful, but that's because we have to add the noodles, and the noodles will suck up a lot of that extra flavor there. So we're gonna go ahead and put our noodles in. There we go. And then we're gonna give that a stir. And then I've got in my kettle, I'll leave a link to it down below because everybody loves my kettle. I have some boiling water. And we're just going to top it off with some boiling water now. Okay. And now we're gonna let this cook up. And just let it softly simmer. Again, with the lid on, just cracked open just a little bit. And we'll be back when it's ready to serve. Okay, and that is it, you guys. So I went ahead and I filled, I added a little bit more water to this as this was all cooking down. So total I used 1.7 liters of boiling water because I used the whole pot, and then I just let it simmer. And then taste it, tweak it. I had to add a little bit more salt. I had to add a little bit more, for me I added a little bit more crushed pepper. And that's it. So my family kind of likes it more on the thicker side, almost like a stew instead of a soup, but I don't thicken the broth, so you can see, unlike my beef stew where I'll thicken it with some potato flakes, I don't do that with this. I keep it soupy. But if you like it with more broth, you know, add you some more stock or some more water, you can do that. But this is the consistency that my family likes it, and the kids will tear this up. Somebody asked me how many times do we reheat this. Honestly, you guys, if I make this for dinner like I did tonight, we're gonna eat it before we go to church, the kids will have 2 bowls apiece. And so if there's any leftovers, it will be eaten tomorrow at lunchtime with a sandwich. If I make this, say, on a Sunday, I'll start this maybe on a Sunday morning and serve it for Sunday for lunch, then there'll be enough left over for the next day. So I'll serve it for lunch again, or I'll serve it for dinner with a loaf of freshly baked bread. Usually though, when I initially make this, it's usually, because this is something that I can start in the, like I said, the Instant Pot and slow cook during the day while we homeschool. So I usually make this for dinner with some fresh baked bread. And then I will warm up whatever's left for lunch the next day. If by some weird chance I would have to warm it up again, I only warm this up 3 times. After that, you'll notice that the noodles just become mushy, and it's not the same after the 3rd warm up. So if there were any leftovers, which has never happened, not with chicken soup, not with any of my soups actually, or my stews, I would feed it to the chickens because it's a lot of protein. If I had to, I'd strain out the juice and give them the noodles and the chicken. All that would be great for them. But trust me, it won't go that far. I'll be lucky if there's any left over for tomorrow for lunch. This might just be gone tonight. Now, what's nice about this too is we can, they can have some soup before we go to church, and then after church, if they're hungry or something, they can have a little bowl of soup. So that's it. I would put this in a bowl, but we are not, I want to feed them before we go to church so they're not super hungry. So I'm gonna wait about another half hour before I feed them. But this is it. Just put it in a bowl and serve it with some bread or some crackers, and you have dinner. So I hope that this was inspiring for you, and helps if anybody's out there who's never made chicken soup before. This is how I make it. Of course, you know, there's 1,000,001 ways to do it. So, you know, play around with it, have fun. Cooking is fun. Measure with love, measure with your taste buds, adjust it when you need to, and enjoy. All right, guys, I will be seeing you soon. Love you guys. God bless, and take care.